I've never been good at endings. Recently, I've been the one who moves on quickly, decisively. Something ends and I'm already in motion, already looking forward, building the next thing. And I used to tell myself that that was strength, that I was resilient, and I didn't need to dwell. But I think what it actually was fear of the nothingness that comes when something ends, of sitting in that space between what was and what's next, where you're just you. When my marriage ended, I didn't pause. I packed everything I owned into storage and flew to Bali. Within days, I was in a new situation, a new country, a new version of my life that I wasn't fully ready for yet. Then I left Bali without closing that chapter. I rushed to Colombia, left Colombia, rushed back to Bali. I kept leaping into the next thing, the next place, the next person, so desperate to finally live that I forgot to stop and acknowledge what I was leaving behind. I never once turned around and said, thank you for what that place was, for what that person taught me, for the version of myself that lived there even if she was struggling. I just left again and again. And I don't think I'm the only one. We end relationships and we immediately begin dating. We finish projects that we've been working on without appreciating what we've accomplished. We outgrow friendships, cities, entire versions of who we used to be, and just keep moving. Without ever stopping to say, I see you, what you were, what you gave me, how you held me when I needed holding, or even just what you taught me, what I learned from this situation. We never close the loop. We never pause to intentionally look. And I think that's what's missing, not just in how we handle endings, in how we handle life. So when I felt that resistance to spring, instead of pushing through it, instead of forcing myself to welcome it, I decided to do something I'd never really done before. I decided to give winter a proper goodbye, to spend one last day fully, intentionally honoring what the season had been for me, the stillness it gave me, the cocoon, the permission to be slow and gentle, and then to see what would happen. One last walk before the rain comes. The forest in late winter has this quality I can't quite describe. The light hangs lower, softer, like it knows it's the last of its kind for a while. Everything is stripped bare. I could hear the silence that only a winter forest holds. That deep, padded quiet, like the whole world is breathing slowly. And I wasn't walking to get somewhere. I wasn't listening to music. I wasn't thinking about what I needed to do when I got home. I was just here, saying goodbye to this version of the forest, because next time I walk this path, the snow will be gone, the buds will be out, it will be a different place. And this one, this quiet, bare winter one, will only exist in my memory. There's a specific kind of beauty in something you know is ending. You see it differently, sharper, more alive, because you're not taking it for granted anymore. You're looking at it the way you'd look at someone you love before a long goodbye. There's something about doing ordinary things with full attention that turns them into something sacred. It's not about the cocoa, it's not about the waffles or the cinnamon, it's about choosing to be here completely instead of already thinking about what's next. I sat here for a long time, not reading or looking at my phone, just sitting with winter, feeling what it had been for me, the slowness, the gentleness, the permission to not be anything other than quiet. And for once I didn't rush to the next thing. I just sat here saying thank you to a season, to a version of myself inside that season. I went to bed that night and I didn't feel transformed. I didn't feel like I'd unlocked some great truth. I just felt done. I felt content. Like I'd said what I needed to say, even if I wasn't sure anyone was listening. Maybe this is what closing a chapter feels like. Not a grand finale, just a quiet, I'm finished here. I can go now. I woke up the next morning and something was different. The resistance was gone. And not because I'd decided to let it go, not because I'd talked myself into being ready, but because the honoring had done the letting go for me. The savoring was the releasing. They were never separate things. And so I began, not forcing spring, just opening the door to it. It's such a simple thing, changing bed sheets, but this time it felt like turning a page. The fresh light linen felt like something beginning. And then I put up tulips and it felt like the room took a breath. The color in the window where the stars had been, it wasn't just decoration, it was a welcome. I opened all the windows and it felt like the house was exhaling with me. I gathered spring recipes, lighter things, greens, things that taste like the sun is coming back. I set out what I needed for the spring cleanse I'd been wanting to do. And all of these things, the sheets, the stars, the tulips, the open windows, none of them would have felt like this if I hadn't given winter its goodbye first. They would have just been things, tasks I did because the season changed. But because I'd honored what came before, every small act carried something more. Every one of them felt chosen, alive. I think seasons might be the most patient teachers we have. They don't ask us for permission, they don't wait until we're ready. They just turn. And in turning, they remind us of the one thing we resist the most. Nothing lasts. Not the cold, not the warmth, not the version of ourselves that we've grown so comfortable in. And I know that that might sound like it should be sad, but I'm starting to think that that's what makes any of it beautiful. The light shining through the window matters because it won't always be this light. The walk in the snow matters because the snow is melting. This moment right now matters because it won't exist again in exactly this way. In the modern world, we've lost the art of closing things. We move so quickly from one chapter to the next that nothing ever really ends and nothing ever really begins. We're always half in the old thing, half reaching toward the new thing. Always in transit, never fully arriving. And I wonder if that's part of why so many of us feel so ungrounded, like we're floating between lives we never quite finish living. I think about the chapters I closed without honoring them, the places I left without saying thank you, the version of me that I outgrew without ever stopping to acknowledge who that woman was, what she'd survived, how hard she'd tried. I just moved on, and I carried the weight of each unfinished chapter with me into the next one. No wonder I felt so heavy. No wonder I couldn't settle. It was like I was dragging half open doors with me wherever I went. And I wonder how different might these transitions have been if I'd given myself what I gave winter. One more day, week or month, one conscious goodbye. Trust that the readiness would come if I'd only let myself feel what I was leaving before I left, or what was leaving me as it left. Spring is here. I can feel it now. Not as something that's taking winter away from me, but as something I'm walking toward. Because I walked away from winter with my whole heart first. If there is a season ending in your life right now, maybe a chapter, a phase, a version of yourself that you're quietly outgrowing, maybe you don't have to rush into the next thing. Maybe you don't have to have it all figured out. Maybe you just need time. One more evening, one more month, followed by one conscious goodbye. A moment to say, I see what this was. I see what it gave me. And I'm ready to let it go. And then see what the morning brings.